Good afternoon to those of you who are joining us from Spain, and good morning to our speaker, Sierra Barnes, who is joining us from Toronto, Canada. Today we have a webinar with the title BioRender, Professional Grade Visuals for Effective Science Communication. And this webinar is jointly organized by the Institute for Sustainable Agriculture and the Major in Artificial Intelligence in Agriculture from the University of Córdoba, Cátedra EMIA. Our speaker, Sierra Barnes, is an account executive at BioRender, where she supports scientists across academia and industry in improving their scientific communication through professional scientific visuals. With a background in research, Sierra is passionate about bridging the gap between complex scientific ideas and clear, compelling visuals. She has partnered with academic institutions and research organizations worldwide, including several CSIC institutes, and is helping scientists to tell their stories more efficiently. If you have any questions, you can write them in the chat, and we will let Sierra know. And also, she will answer any other questions after her presentation. And you can also raise your hands after the presentation is finished as well. So Sierra, when you're ready, you can share your screen.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Pilar, for the lovely introduction, and lovely to meet all of you guys here today. I will just start by taking over the screen here. And I'm also going to turn off my camera just to prevent any bandwidth issues that I might have with the internet over here. But let me know if you can see that.
Yes, we can see. Well, it's not in presenter mode, but now we see it in a slideshow mode. Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. So I can get started. Yeah, so thanks so much for joining us today. Yeah, as a quick intro, I'm Sierra and I'm responsible for managing BioRender's relationship with CSIC, and super excited to walk you through BioRender today. Just a heads up, this call is recorded, so we'll be sending it out afterwards so you can watch it again and you can share it with any colleagues that maybe weren't able to join but would benefit from learning about BioRender. Just a bit of an agenda for today. I'll start by giving a brief introduction to BioRender, kind of who we are, how we came to exist, and why this call should be important to you all today. Then I'll jump into the platform itself, and I'll show you a bit about how it works. I'll basically be creating a figure live for you all from scratch. And then at the end, I'll leave some time for Q&A. But if you have any questions as we're going through this, feel free to come off mute and interrupt me. I'm happy for this to be as engaging and impactful as possible. So Pilar will also be monitoring the chat. But yeah, feel free to ask questions throughout if anything comes to mind. To summarize it, though, communicating science is hard. And if you guys are like most research institutes I speak with, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you probably are, you probably don't love making figures for your research. You spend weeks, months, even years conducting experiments, gathering data, analyzing results, writing your manuscript. But when it comes time to publish or present at a conference, what happens? You're probably pulling up PowerPoint and putting together something that looks kind of like this. Now, this works if you take the time to really study it. You can kind of understand the concepts here. But let's be honest, it's probably not going to win any design awards. And more importantly, figures like this don't accurately represent the quality of the research that you're doing. So maybe you're using PowerPoint and using basic lines and shapes to build your figures. Or maybe it's something that's pieced together with whatever tools you have on hand, making it a little hard to follow, a little bit clunky, and you end up with something that looks a little bit Frankensteined together. And if you've ever made something like this, I'm sure you can appreciate just how time-consuming it is and what a pain this is. One last example here to kind of drive the point home. Relatively speaking, this is actually quite a good figure. It's clear enough, but we spoke to the person who made this, and they told us that it took them several hours to put together. So a huge time sink relative to what it could be. And truthfully, we can't really blame anyone for doing it this way. Using PowerPoint and other standard tools to build science figures has kind of become the standard. And really, that's just because until recently, there hasn't been a better way. We at BioRender actually estimate that scientists collectively waste more than 1 billion hours per year making figures in these tools. And again, these tools aren't designed for scientists, so that's a whole lot of time that could be better spent doing research or doing more impactful things that actually push your science forward. And so that's why we created BioRender, to help make it easy for researchers, regardless of artistic ability, to create beautiful, repeatable, scientifically accurate graphics in literally a couple of minutes. And I'll show you creating a figure live from scratch in just a few moments. At this point, we have 50,000 plus pre-made icons and templates they span pretty much every field of life science and pretty much every type of figure that you can imagine. Basically, what we've done is draw all the pieces for you. So your cells, receptors, lab equipment, you name it. As a user, you just search through our library, drag and drop, and you can create beautiful figures that look like this one here on the right. Now, both of these figures are actually trying to communicate the same concept, but which one is catching your eye a little bit more? Which one's making the idea easier to grasp? It's clear that this one is standing out here, and it literally only took about 10 minutes to make versus 3 hours in PowerPoint for the one on the left. And another example we have here, the one on the right was created in BioRender in just about 20 minutes versus 4 hours in Adobe. And a final example here showcasing that protocol before made in PowerPoint versus a few minutes in BioRender. And now when I talk to most scientists about making their figures, they usually think about 3 main use cases, which is presentations, grant applications, publications. And I think that comes from the fact that historically there just hasn't been an easy way to make science figures. A lot of scientists I speak with will outright tell me, unless they absolutely have to, they avoid creating new figures. If there isn't already one that's floating around in their department or their lab that fits their needs, they just skip it and choose to explain concepts with text only. And honestly, I get it, because nobody wants to spend hours in PowerPoint only to end up with something that you're not even happy with. So they leave figures for the most significant publications or presentations they have. But interestingly, what we see when people start using BioRender is that they begin incorporating figures into all sorts of places they weren't using them before. One example is lab and team meetings. Researchers are using BioRender to keep regular updates visual and clear so that you can maintain a working model of your research and your protocols as they continually evolve. Another interesting example is email updates. Instead of having to write out a very long, highly technical email to explain your research update to colleagues, only to get a reply back from them with 10 confusing follow-up questions, now you can just throw together a figure in 5 minutes, drop it in an email, and make sure that everybody's immediately aligned and on the same page. Another one is onboarding and training materials. BioRender is perfect for creating process diagrams, experimental guides, protocols. And I'm sure some of you have seen years old protocols floating around your labs with, scribbled notes, things crossed out, photocopied edits. That was definitely my experience when I was working in a lab. But with BioRender, you can create clean, up-to-date versions of your protocols and kind of use them as a central editable repository. That way, anybody that's new to the lab always has access to the latest and clearest version of your research. So pretty much anywhere you can use a figure to explain a scientific concept, you can use BioRender to help you with that. Now, before I jump into the live demo, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the partnerships that we've built across the CSIC. So you guys may recognize a few of the institutes here. Each of these institutes is already using BioRender in meaningful ways to create high impact visuals for their publications, streamline their internal communication, simplify training, you name it. And so happy to continue supporting research across this really impactful network and kind of building on that foundation across other CSIC institutes. And now these images were graciously shared with me by the researchers at your own institute, and I hope they don't mind me celebrating them here today, but just wanted to thank you all again for giving me insight into your work. That was really helpful for me to kind of build out this webinar, and these figures really showcase the power of BioRender and the kinds of clear, beautiful illustrations that you're able to create. So from, complex cell signaling pathways, experimental workflows, pipelines, protocol visualizations, you name it. So yes, thank you again to the researchers for sharing these with me. And now I will go into sharing my screen and giving a live demo of the platform. Awesome. So BioRender is a web-based application. So to access it, all you have to do is click sign in from our webpage. And this will take you straight to your homepage. So this is our gallery. All of the images that you create will be auto-saved down here. So I've created all of these, and it's a great time to emphasize that I'm not an artist and I'm also not a scientist. So if I can make all of these, rest assured that that you can too. So within BioRender, you're actually able to share and collaborate within the application itself. So if you want to work with somebody on your team, you can change the permissions to share a file with them. And this will let them either edit or view the file so that you can work on it together. There's a few different ways that you can start a figure. One is starting from scratch, or you can check out our existing BioRender templates that we have. Our medical illustration team is building out this database every single day. And so they go through a rigorous process to make sure that they're all scientifically accurate and kind of relevant to the work that you're doing. So they're organized by categories. I know you guys at IAS are doing work in agriculture, so we can take a peek at the agriculture subfolder. So variety of different figures here. But everything is tagged, so we can just use keyword searches to see what might pop up. So let's see if we search crop improvement. Here are some of the figures that we have relevant to those keywords. Maybe another one. I don't know if you guys are doing any work on soil science. You can check out some of the files that we have related to that. Maybe plant genetics. So a wide variety of templates for us to choose from. All you need to do is select that, click Use Template, and then every element on this figure is completely customizable. But I'm actually going to start by creating an illustration from scratch for you all. And this takes you to our canvas view. So I just want to get you guys quickly oriented in the platform. One thing I like to point out initially is our help button here down in the bottom right. If you're ever stuck, we have live chat available, and our support team is super knowledgeable. All of them have science backgrounds. So if there's anything that you're stuck on in the platform, this is a really great place to start. They're a super informative team. But the bulk of BioRender is actually stored here on the left-hand side. This is where all of our icons, templates, brushes, that's where everything is stored. And I mentioned that we have 50,000 plus icons at this point, covering pretty much every field of life sciences. So that's a lot of icons, but luckily they're organized in categories as well. So we can take a peek at the agriculture folder, agricultural plants, can kind of check out what we have available here. Maybe we want to look at equipment and objects. But again, all of these are tagged. So if there's anything you want to look up, you can just type. So let's see what happens when we search plants. All of our plant icons come up. Maybe you want to look up methodologies like PCR. All of our PCR related icons will show up. Maybe something as simple as DNA. All of our DNA related icons show up. I'm curious, is there any icons or any keywords that people are curious if we have and would want me to search up here? I'm happy to type something in.
Irrigation?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Irrigation. Irrigate.
So we have some of these icons here. Are these looking relevant to some of the stuff that you're working on?
Not really.
Okay.
The drop, maybe. Some could be okay.
Mm. Any other keywords we want to look up?
They are written in the chat.
Oh, I can't see the chat.
Branches of olive. Olive tree and branches of olive.
Olive. Looks like we have some olives here, but if we look up tree, lots of tree icons. Branches as well. One thing I will say is if there's a certain icon that you need that would be really helpful for your work that doesn't exist in our database already, you can request a custom icon here. All of these requests go to our medical illustration team. They'll just ask a couple questions, maybe for some examples, and then they'll work to build that out and add that directly to our library as well. So we're constantly working to build out our library. So we've recently been expanding our agriculture icons, but if there's anything in particular that's missing, we're happy to kind of build that out and add it to the database as well.
There's another word to search, and that's light sheet microscopy.
Like this?
Yes, light sheet microscopy.
So we have some icons here. Hopefully some of these are looking similar to what you guys might have in the lab. Perfect. So we have quite a bit of equipment built out as well as biological icons. So perfect. Thanks for sharing some of the examples. So yeah, to get started, all you need to do is drag and drop onto the canvas. So let's maybe start with a plant icon. All you have to do is drag and drop, and that adds it to the canvas. And when I click on this icon, a bunch of settings pop up on the left-hand side. So you can change the color or style of the icon. You can even add maybe a color overlay if that's relevant to what you're working on. Change the transparency, saturation. So quite a few different things that you can do. But you'll know there's not much I can do for the shape of the icon itself. The icons that have a blue box are what we call our basic or simple icons. If you compare this to a different icon type we have, let's see, look up a plant cell maybe. This icon has a purple box around it. And so this is what we call our grouped icon. It's pretty much an icon made up of smaller icons. So all of these pieces in here are also completely customizable. You can shift things, change the colors of certain icons, delete things that might not be relevant. And then once you're happy with what you've created, you just exit, and then that still moves as a group. So really helps you kind of customize the icons that you need even further. So I'll get started now actually building out a figure. And let's see. So I can start by just looking up whatever icons I need. This looks like a good place to start. And maybe I want to draw a figure that shows a virus infecting this plant. So when I look up virus, all of my virus-related icons show up. I'll use maybe this group one. Move that over here. And then in the top bar, we have all of our basic lines and shapes that you might need, including different arrows. So we know scientists love arrows, so we've built out pretty much every type of arrow that you might need. I'm going to use a faded arrow to show some movement from point A to point B. Like so. Okay, awesome. And now a good design trick that our designers taught us is something called a call out. So we have these as well. And that just kind of shows something happening maybe closer up, maybe more at the cellular level. Perfect. Maybe I want to switch the color. And maybe this call out is showing something happening within the plant cell. So I'll look up cell. Let's keep it simple. There we go. And maybe in this figure, I want to show, the virus infecting the plant cell. So I can, actually, let's add a nucleus to our plant cell. Let's make this green to keep the, the color scheme. That looks good. Okay. And yeah, maybe we want to see some cell signaling happening within the cell. So look up cell signaling. Perfect. A few examples I could probably pull from. Now this is a grouped icon, and I don't think I'm going to need all of these pieces, so I can double click in and delete anything that I don't need. Exit group. And maybe I want to show that a virus is interacting with the cellular receptor. So I can search up virus again, drag and drop that to add it in. Perfect. And now we have a strand of DNA here. And that actually reminds me that we have another type of icon that I should show you guys. I'll use another slide for this, which we call our brushes. So they're stored over here in our brushes tab. DNA is a really good example of our bio brushes. So if you see some icons have this little brush symbol in the corner, when you add that to your canvas, you'll see that they have these nodes. When you pull the nodes, they actually can create a really custom shape to kind of outline any particular shape that you need. Another good example of that is membranes. I know from when I was doing research and having to draw a phospholipid bilayer and having to copy paste those icons, you don't have to worry about that here in BioRender. All of the icons just get added so that you can make pretty much any custom shape that you would need if you want to show something more on the cellular level. So we have quite a few different brushes available as well. Now going back to our figure here, maybe I want to switch this label. You can add text anywhere that you need as well. Maybe I want this to say signal transduction, just keeping it really simple for now. Perfect. There we go. And maybe I want to show some gene activation happening within here. So I can look up what we have for any gene activation. That should work for this. And maybe I want to change the color of this icon back to green, keeping my color scheme. Perfect. And then I can add any labels I need. If you need any more text, you can just add a text box up here. So maybe I want this to say defense gene activation. And with text, you can change anything you need from the font, the size, the orientation, anything like that. And then now you have a text label. Let's make this. Awesome. Now if we zoom out, we can see just how quickly I was able to put something together that looks, relatively good in just a few minutes. So probably can spend a little bit longer polishing this, adding a little bit more detail, but that just shows just how quickly you can put something together from scratch in PowerPoint. And now let's say I would want to use this figure over and over again if it was relevant to a lot of the presentations or work that I was doing. You can highlight this whole element, group it together, and then favorite it up here at this favorites button. And then now it'll be added to my favorites tab. And so if I were to delete this, I can just drag and drop and use it over and over and never have to worry about creating this ever again. And then if this icon was relevant to some of my colleagues' work as well, you can actually share specific icons with groups as well. So just clicking these three dots and share, your colleagues can then have access to it. And that really helps create more of a standard visual language for all of the research being done in your group or your lab. And that way it really becomes easy at a glance to, look at a presentation and immediately understand what's being communicated and look what the key message is. So again, that's just creating an icon from scratch. But as I mentioned, we have a ton of templates built out as well. So we can go back to search. And when I search up, let's say plant cell, you can search in the icons or you can look in our templates as well. And so all that would need to be done is clicking on the template and then add to canvas. And then you can see that all of these elements, are completely customizable as well. You can remove anything that maybe isn't relevant to what you're working on, add new icons, change the colors to really kind of create something custom and not have to worry about starting from scratch. And as you can see, I took inspiration from one of our templates to build out this figure for you. So didn't even have to build it from scratch. Could have just dipped into some of the templates that we have to find something that might have been a good starting place and then built off of that a little bit further. Okay, awesome. So let's say that I've now done my figure. I'm ready to start using it in certain places. There's a couple things that I can do here. For one, you can present directly within BioRender. So you're able to build out entire slide decks here. You can add text. And then if you're needing to, just present your slides directly within the platform itself. You can also export it. So let's say we go over to export. It wants me to name my file demo May 7. And there's a few different file types that we can choose from. So we can do, a static PNG file or JPEG. We can also download it as a PowerPoint presentation. And so this is a good way to kind of introduce our new PowerPoint integration. So we recently built out a integration with Microsoft PowerPoint. So now if I just download maybe slide 2 as a PowerPoint file, now I can open up that figure in PowerPoint. Oh, let me see. Just slide 2. And you can see that all of these elements here in PowerPoint are customizable as well. As long as you ungroup the icon before you download, you can kind of move around all of these pieces to kind of fit within your presentation. And the good thing about this is I'm sure you guys are all aware of PowerPoint animations. So if you want to really kind of help when you're presenting or you want to animate certain elements, you can definitely do that. So now if we go to present, we see we can start building out really a story with the figure that we've created here. And with the PowerPoint integration, if we've made any changes to our figure here, let's say we change some of the colors, maybe we want this to be pink for whatever reason. PowerPoint figures automatically save every couple minutes, but I'll just make sure that it's saved there. And then if we go back to our PowerPoint slide and check out our PowerPoint integration, it will check and see, let's maybe go to this slide. It will check and see if any updates have been made to that figure. And so the integration is telling me, oh, there's a new version of this slide or this figure. So all you have to do is click Update Slide. And it will add those changes directly to your PowerPoint figure. So it really helps saving time, jumping through platforms. Now you can do a lot of your edits directly within PowerPoint and kind of streamline those presentations that you're putting together. So that's one thing you can do. You can export your file. Another thing that you can do is share these figures with your team. So let's say I really want to get a colleague's feedback on this figure, or I want them to help me build it out. I can just click their email, give them permissions to edit or view, and then send them an invite. And then they can hop in here. Similarly to Google Docs or Google Slides, we can work on this figure at the exact same time. They can also leave comments anywhere. That I can see next time I log in, and we can kind of have a better working document of something collaborative that we're working on, whether that be, a lab protocol, a figure for a publication, a grant application. It really kind of helps with the collaborative side of building out these figures. Awesome. So that's building out a figure from scratch. I got a request to showcase some of our newer AI functionality. So to do that, I will head over to our new canvas. We've actually just released a newer version of BioRender. It has a lot of the same elements that I just showed you, but with a much sleeker, more spacious canvas. So now you'll have a lot of more space to whiteboard, leave notes, kind of build out your figure. This version of BioRender is actually being slowly rolled out over the next couple of months. So as you guys sign up, you might see this as well, but it's formatted the same, icons and templates on the side over here, slides over here, just with a lot more space for you to kind of work and play around. And so this is where our new AI functionality is being stored, which is really exciting. So now we have text to figure generation. So let's say you want to build out a protocol for one of the experiments that you're running in the lab. All you have to do is write text kind of outlining the protocol that you're working on. So I think we have some example text here. This is an example for some NMR spectroscopy. So you write your text here, and then you click go. And I think one of the major concerns currently about using AI for building out science figures is the scientific accuracy. I'm sure you've seen some of the silly or nonsensical figures that have come out from using AI tools. But what we've done with BioRender is making sure that it's only ever pulling from the icons.
Sierra, excuse me.
Yep.
Yes, maybe before you move further into the AI, there are a couple of questions.
Yep.
One is how to save images in high resolution. And the other one is, do I need to download any plugin to use PowerPoint?
Great question. So for the second one, you do have to download a PowerPoint plugin. It's just if you Google BioRender PowerPoint add-in, it's in the Microsoft App Store. All you have to do, it says additional purchase may be required. That's incorrect. You get it for free, and you just click Get Now, and that will be added to your PowerPoint. And for downloading images in high resolution, I'll just go back to our classic canvas for this. All you have to do is export. Let's say, you want to do JPEG. You can choose the DPI or the highest resolution you want. It can go up to 1200 DPI, which I think is ultra high resolution. So that's where you can choose. If you want to, save storage space, you can save it at lower resolution or go up to ultra high. great questions. Any others questions, Pilar?
No, at the moment. So you can continue.
Okay, perfect. Keep them coming. Happy
Well,
to answer any
sorry,
questions.
sorry. They are asking if you could please paste the link in the chat. Well, maybe we do it later.
For the PowerPoint
For
add-on?
the PowerPoint plugin, yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
I will share that. No problem.
Okay, that's already there.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So just switching back to our newer canvas. Awesome. So maybe I'll make a new AI figure too. So we also have a timeline generator, same thing. All you have to do is put in text in timeline format, click go, and then it's able to kind of pull from our existing icons and our existing library to help kind of put something together. Again, it's never going to create something or make something up that doesn't make sense. It's just going to kind of pull together from our database of icons. So as you can see, within, I think that was maybe 20 seconds, it was able to put something together for you. And the cool thing is that it also gives up other examples of icons on the left-hand side. So let's say this isn't the MRI imaging icon that you'd want to use. You can delete that and then swap it out with a different icon that maybe fits the story you're telling a little bit better. Or maybe that's not the sequencing platform you'd want to use. You can delete that. Look at all the other Illumina sequencing platforms that we have available. Maybe this is the correct one, or this one, pop it in there. And then you can just exit group, and then that whole thing moves as a group as well. So we've really worked on, making BioRender as seamless, quick, efficient as possible without jeopardizing scientific accuracy or, credibility of your icons. So I've seen some of the other things that we're working on with AI. This is really just the tip of the iceberg. We're working on kind of building out, iterating on our existing icons in a different style, different orientations, but maintaining the same, BioRender style. And so, yeah, that's just kind of a quick intro to some of the AI functionality that we have. I think I have time to show one other more recently added feature of BioRender. So now BioRender isn't exclusively used for building out illustrations, but we also have new graphing and data analysis functionality, which is really exciting. And so we have smart data import. So you can start with your data in any format that you need. We've heard feedback from folks that use maybe GraphPad Prism, where it's very rigid in the types of data formatting that you have to import, but you can choose any file, any kind of organization of your data to get started. Or we can start directly from a graph type. So let's say we want to look at a box plot. We can just click Create. And BioRender gives us some example data to kind of start off with or play with. If that's not relevant, you can easily delete it. But if we add a graph, we can see it was able to kind of put together a nice looking graph for us pretty quickly. But all of this is completely customizable as well. It wouldn't be BioRender if you couldn't change all the colors and everything. So we have a variety of preset color themes. I really like salmon season. So you can change all these colors. You can customize them as well to whatever colors that you need. And then on top of that, you're also able to do statistical analyses in BioRender as well. So for this data set, it's recommending a two-way ANOVA. And just click continue. Maybe want to compare all of the groups. And I can send some info on all the different types of analyses BioRender is capable of doing. All of this is built on top of R, the programming language. So as you can see, it ran all of the statistical analyses for that example data set. And then we can add that to our graph as well. So that's showing us, the error bar statistical analyses. This is very statistically significant data. And all of this you can edit as well. So you can add different labels, fonts, things like that. And again, when I leave this file, it will be stored in my my gallery as well. So I can continue to use that graphing data anywhere that I need. So that's essentially what I was hoping to show everybody today. Looks like I have a couple minutes, so maybe I can just show that we also have a poster builder directly in BioRender as well. We've worked with a lot of groups to build out custom poster templates. So if there's ever a template that you guys would need at CSIC or IAS, we can help to build that out as well. But maybe I'll just click into one as an example. Which one looks good? Maybe Boston Children's. And so I remember in my research days having to build a poster on a PowerPoint presentation and having to format all these boxes. And then if one thing needs to switch sizes, it would take you forever to resize. But with our poster builder, everything is dynamic and kind of moves together. So we can really help kind of streamline that process further. And then when you add an image, you can add pretty much anything from your existing BioRender library. So these are all the figures that I've put together. And then it just gets added in like that. So it can really help you quickly put together a poster presentation for any of the posters you might have coming up. And again, when I go back to gallery, that will be saved. Oh, it wants poster 1. Saved in my gallery as well. Perfect. So that's essentially what I was hoping to show. I can maybe stop sharing my screen now so I can go back to Zoom.